As we roll through the summer, one of the most important deadlines we've just gotten past was FSA certifying acres, making sure that all of that was taken care of at your local offices when you farm. And we've got a couple of our interns from MyAgData joining us today. We've got Peter Leno here in studio and Luke Blackwell on video. And so if you're watching our Lighthouse Commodities live stream, you can see the guys. But we want to talk a little bit about what their summer's been like and then some of the other things that have been happening throughout the season. So Peter, I'm going to ask you, make sure to tell us who you are, where you're from, all that kind of thing.
Yeah. My name is Peter Leno. I'm going to NDSU for my major in precision agriculture. I just wrapped up my last year here and did some time last year doing research work with Syngenta. Now working with MyAgData. So nice. Spent a lot of time outdoors. Now I get to spend a lot of time inside working with farmers online, and it's been a lot of fun, a lot of learning.
What's your goal now? It's your last year. Are you graduating, or are you going to? Are you going to do post schooling, or are you going to go out in the work field right away? What do you want to do?
That's a good question. Hopefully, I'll get brought back by Syngenta. I had a lot of fun with them last year, and
good deal.
Learned a lot, especially with MyAgData. It's a really unique position to be working with them, doing the FSA reports, and getting to work firsthand with these farmers and seeing, what their issues are and how their tech works.
What's the biggest thing you learned from
them? Has to be like data interpretation and just communicating with these FSA offices, because I had never worked with the FSA and like doing the 578 reports. Didn't know anything about that process.
Okay.
And I've learned a lot about how, when farmers go and plant and they combine and everything, how that data comes back on their end and what it looks like on a computer. Because it's one thing to just, look at a screen and see, okay, I harvested this, but you already know that because you see it in person, versus to see it on a computer and not have seen the process in person. It's really fun to interpret it, understand it, and learn from it.
For those who are wondering, U.S. Department of Agriculture has the agency FSA, Farm Service Agency. And the Farm Service Agency handles so many of our farm programs. So as a farmer, you need to certify your acres. You have to have accurate counting for potential programs if we have disaster declarations, crop insurance as well, et cetera. And so that's what the interns from MyAgData have been doing this summer, is to helping make sure that that farm data comes directly out of the cab, off of our precision tools that we're using, and going directly over to FSA for accuracy. And one of the other students that worked there this summer is Luke Blackwell. Luke, tell us your background as well, please.
Yes, ma'am. Good afternoon. My name is Luke Blackwell. I'm from Amarillo, Texas. I will be a junior next year at Oklahoma State studying geospatial information science. So,
hold on. So I went from precision ag over here with Peter to geospatial science. When you picked that as a major, what were you planning to do?
Well, so I've kind of been all over the place. I started as crop and soil science.
Okay.
So I grew up farming and ranching, but mostly livestock. And so I was, oddly enough, more interested in the crop side. So then I did crop and soil science, took a precision ag class where we did GIS work, and I fell in love with the geospatial insight that you can gain from looking at stuff on a map. So,
wow. I never thought that it would be exciting to look at maps, but look at us go. We're having this discussion with two guys who would say that it has been very exciting. So, Luke, before we leave talking with you, talk a little bit about your duties this summer. Yes, we can say that you made sure to take data off the tractor, put it into FSA, but what did that actually entail? What's that process look like when you're helping farmers?
Yeah, so one of the coolest things that I got to work on was inside of our GIS system. So we use QGIS. Curating the farmer's data is invaluable. It's pretty incredible to see how messy ag data can be. Of course, if you have more than one OEM that you're bringing in, you could be using John Deere and Case. A lot of times the planting data or spraying data that you're bringing in is not clean, right? So one of the biggest things that I got to learn how to do was clean up that data using GIS, and then upload it into our GIS platform and toggle with that. So just curating the data.
So, Peter, when you guys say the data wasn't clean, this is more than someone should take a shop towel and wipe off their monitor, right? What does that actually mean?
It can mean a number of things.
Okay.
Sometimes farmers will get their plant dates mixed up because some spots of their fields will be wet and some will be dry.
And you've been planting for 36 hours straight. And you have no idea what day it is.
Yeah, and you're not worried about what the data looks like. You're more worried about just planting, right?
Yes, you are.
So some of that data comes in bits and pieces, and we have to assemble it on the map.
Okay.
And a lot of back and forth with the farmer to be like, what is this? Why is there a big hole in your field? Is there something else planted there? Is this the same thing that's all over the field?
You went back 3 weeks later after that wet spot dried out.
Yeah, and
Okay.
they'll come back and they'll tell us that, but sometimes we don't get that data. So we have to communicate with the farmers a lot to fill in some of those gaps.
And you're easing that for them. You're a phone call versus them having to drive to their county offices.
Yep, phone call, email, text, all that. And they definitely appreciate the phone call more than, talking to a robot, going to an office. And a lot of these FSA offices now, too, they're very underfunded at the moment. So
yes.
they're really understaffed. They can be kind of hard to get a hold of and, get your data from.
And they have to make appointments. So, like Luke, you're able to make that phone call or clarify with the farmer versus, I've got guys that farm in 3 counties up here. You got to go to 3 different offices, make 3 different appointments. Sometimes that's 3 different days out of your life to go get that done. You're simplifying that in a lot of ways, aren't you, Luke?
Yes. Yeah, no, that's one of our biggest approaches. Most of the growers that I worked with this summer farm in multiple counties. And so being able to save them that time and effort, one phone call away, and we're going to be able to get it more accurately with our system than they will in the FSA anyways. So even if they do go into the FSA office, they're still only using their CLU boundaries, right? So we're overlaying their planting data with their CLUs. And so we're taking into account their waterways, their windmill roads, their holes, just like Peter said. So that just gives them an extra bit of clarity when they start doing their insurance forms.
So what if I'm that farmer? I majored in precision ag and she just got back to the farm. She knows this kind of stuff pretty well. Are you still an option with MyAgData for her versus having to have you guys input it?
Yes, absolutely. So we have managed services and we also have SaaS, which is software as a service. So with SaaS, that's exactly who it's directed at. It's somebody who's familiar with field boundaries, familiar with CLUs, and they can just go into our system. It's a very easy platform, very easy onboarding, and it's a very quick report. And so they can get that PDF report, send it straight to the FSA, rather than paying us to do the full thing for them. So they have full ability to edit their fields, do whatever they want within our service.
And once you guys have done that, Peter, someone can take that information, they can use it at their local retailer, because what if they need to order seed or fertilizer, right? Your accuracy is pinpoint.
Yeah, absolutely. Using that data, you won't overbuy. You want too much seed, too little seed. You can buy exactly how much you need because you know exactly how many acres you planted.
Which is nice for a change instead of maybe a little guess. Because I can guarantee you in my years working in the industry, a guy running a spreader really appreciates it when the acres are right and he doesn't have most of a load left on fertilizer and have to find a home for it, et cetera, especially at these prices. So, gentlemen, when you think about the skills that you're going to take away from this job, which ones come to mind first? So, Peter, for you, you worked research last year, learned that you liked it, but what are you going to take from this summer to apply in the future?
Well, the research is very fun. Go out driving tractors and spraying fields. It's a lot of fun being out there, but it's another thing to actually understand what you're doing and what it looks like on paper, and being able to understand what you just did and how it looks on paper, what you can do with it, and how you can report with it. So for me, learning how to handle the data that you're collecting was a very invaluable skill.
So you pretty much just learned the big picture of all of it.
Yeah, I just connected all the dots.
Luke, what about you?
Yeah, I would say in a similar vein, also communication, talking with all these FSA offices and learning the FSA policy that has been coming out recently that supports our mission. That was invaluable experience just to have a perspective with GIS in ag. Something that you don't really get in school without having this experience. And then, like I was talking about earlier, that GIS experience at school, we only use ArcGIS. With this company, we've got multiple forms of GIS that we use to curate data and play around with that. And so that's been super cool just to learn open source vector data like that. And then there was also some Excel work that I did that was really valuable, just searching for missing CLUs and communicating with FSA offices on that front. So working with thousands of rows of data within Excel and learning those functions.
I love someone who just said, I learned great things about Excel. He said Excel, and I thought, oh, please God, not another spreadsheet. Okay, so that's the difference here. But you guys, in internships, you learn what you want to do and what you don't want to do. And for you guys, you learn a bit of both, which I think is pretty important.
Yeah.
For those who are interested in finding out more about MyAgData, where could they possibly go to look it all up?
Well, we have a wonderful website, myagdata.com. That'll give everyone a good overview of exactly what we do and what we offer.
Excellent. All right, gentlemen, I want to say thank you so much for joining us today. I love hearing what's going on with interns and the things that they are doing throughout the season, and this is no exception. So again, thanks for the time today.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, when we
Absolutely.
come back.
Thank you for having us.
When we come back, we will have a recap on the weather, which includes, finally, some rainfall. But just how much rain are we expecting? We'll run down some of those details coming up here in just a few minutes.